All right. Good afternoon. Welcome to the August 22nd meeting of the City of Davenport Zoning Board of Adjustment. The Zoning Board of Adjustment holds public hearings to consider the strict application of the zoning ordinance for hardship variances, special uses, and appeals. I'm Dan Darling, Chairman of the Zoning Board of Adjustment. Members present today, besides myself, is Bridget Boyd Carlson. Online, we have Mike Galliart and John Clefman. Staff present today is Laura Berkeley, Scott Copes, and of council, Brad Marshall. If you have a mobile device, please turn it off as it may interfere with the room's electronics. As we conduct our business, we expect that everyone here will conduct themselves in a respectful, courteous, and civil manner, and will speak only after being recognized by the chair. The only exception to this standard is that staff is expected to interject when necessary to ensure we are properly conducting our business. If anyone wishes to speak on a particular agenda item, you'll be provided an opportunity to do so. When recognized by me, please step to the podium, introduce yourself, and provide your input. By practice, each person is only permitted one opportunity to speak. Exceptions to that practice is at my discretion. Of course, if a board member asks a question of anyone, they'll be permitted to speak to answer that question, but I'll ask that you keep your response limited to that specific question. All right, do we have any corrections to the minutes from our last meeting? That had been July 11th. All right, hearing none, may I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve July 11th meeting notes.
Second? Mike, you still there?
Mike or John, are you still there? Mike or John, are you there? Okay. John, can you hear me now? What is going on? Never had that problem before. Can you hear me now? I think I got disconnected. I'm not on. I lost the phone. I think it's me. I think there's something wrong with the phone.
Please enter your access code followed by the pound. To enable audio controls, please enter your...
Can you hear me now?
I hear you.
Excellent. Somehow our phone got
Mike
disconnected.
Gallagher, hear ya.
Okay, sorry, our phone got disconnected somehow. Okay, so we're at minutes. We have, Bridget Boyd Carlson has motioned to approve the minutes. That's where we're at right now.
Right, so I'm looking for, looking for a second for the July 11th minutes approval.
I can second. Mike Gallagher.
Thanks, Mike. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
None opposed. Okay. Perfect. Our first item of business is a request HB 24-10 of Bray Architects on behalf of the Davenport Community School at 503 Cedar Street for a hardship variance to 1, exceed building height by 11 feet, 2, locate a refuse enclosure in the front yard, and 3, construct a chain link fence in the front yard. Davenport Municipal Code limits building height for this property to 35 feet and requires refuse enclosures and chain link fences to be in a side or rear yard. This is in Ward 3. Are we taking these one at a time?
I don't think you necessarily need to. I mean, if you think there's one that you would vote differently than the other ones, then we can discuss separating out the vote.
Okay. Well, we'll leave them together for now. Okay. Is the applicant here? Perfect. And may I have the staff report, please?
Scott Copes, Neighborhood Services. So this is similar to a request we had before for the school district. There's 3 components, as was just read. The building height, it's a residential district, which allows for 35 feet. Presently, there is a school building with 3 stories, and they would like to have a portion of the new building 3 stories. So the stories are staying the same, but they would be 11 feet over our technical height limit. Then the 2 other issues are site issues. One is the refuse enclosure. There's really no place to place that without having it in one of the front yards. It is proposed to be in the east yard between Howell and the school building, and I'll show you that in a minute. And then the other site element is a chain link fence. Chain link is allowed only behind the front wall of the building. Well, when you have 4 front yards, there's no place for a front yard chain link fence. Moving on, this is just the code requirements. If we need to come back to that, we can. That's what I just read. And so here's the site. There was, Monroe was demolished on the southern portion of the site, and there still is part of Smart there. They propose to keep the gym. And so here's a zoomed-in area of that. The yellow rectangle at top here is where their gym is going to remain. And then just for your edification, they have vacated 5th Street, is that the?
Yep.
5th Street. And so here's the site plan. The building is in gray. The portion that's going to be taller is, my understanding is all at the southern point there. They're going to have a fence on the western portion there, and that's part of the variance. And then to the east here is where the refuse enclosure would be. This is the elevations, and so when you're looking at the west elevation, it's on the right-hand side. When you're looking at the east elevation, it's on the left-hand side, and then when you're looking at the south elevation, that's everything you're looking at. And again, that's 3 stories, which is what is there now is 3 stories as well. This is the example of the fence. This is the picture of Sudlow, but it's the same fence style they're proposing now. And this is the front of Smart, where it does show that it has 3 stories. And so that's going to be demolished, what we're looking at, but what is being proposed is going to be 3 stories but technically 11 feet taller than what's allowed. This is the gym, which is going to remain. That does meet the height requirements. We sent out 56 notices. We had one returned, and that was emailed today, and that is here.
I don't think we're going to read it
Yeah, I
due
don't
to the
think-
language in
Yeah,
in
some of
it,
the
but,
language. If you haven't had a chance to read it, let us know. We can pause and let you read that. Otherwise, I'll move on to our findings. And so staff has found that it's met the 4 conditions for a hardship variance. And we've placed 4 recommended conditions. One is that the addition of evergreen landscaping bushes be on 3 sides of the refuse enclosure. And there's no real size requirement, so these can be kept trimmed, so people can't hide behind them. The second condition is the chain link be constructed as shown for the other location with black PVC coating and with the top rail. And that the chain link be installed without the privacy slats that are optional sometimes. At no point in the future do we want those to be installed. And that the chain link be maintained in good condition. And so those are the 4 conditions for staff, and we do recommend approval.
Thank you. Is there any questions from the board to staff? All right, hearing none. Applicant, you may step up to the podium and introduce yourself and present your petition.
I'm John Mann with Bray Architects. Thank you for having us and for hearing this through. This is very similar to what we talked about with the Sudlow project. The southern portion of the new addition is 3-story. That's to facilitate 3 levels of education. So that's the classroom portion of the building. The pieces that are lower scale include the gymnasium, cafeteria, office, and media center pieces. Part of the reason that a 3-story building is taller now than it was when the original building is constructed is because we need more floor-to-floor height because we have a bunch of ductwork. The original building was built without conventional heating and cooling systems. When they added those, they had to drop the ceilings down, and so they have very low ceilings that block the windows. So we're trying to provide ample space that all the mechanicals and electricals fit in between the floor plates. In addition, we're looking to make sure we have enough parapet to help screen any mechanical units that are mounted on roofs so that the visual is free and clear of any of those nuisance things that we need to screen for anyway. Unfortunately, because of it being a residential district, it just doesn't give you the building height in code that allows you to build a commercial scale building. However, the building has been presented to the community and to the neighborhood, and it's been well received as an aesthetic upgrade. When we chose to build on this site, Monroe School was demolition with the purpose of extending the smart building onto both sites, linking them together. The unfortunate situation is when we do that, we now have 4th Street, 6th Street, Howell, and Cedar as all primary streets around the building. So we effectively have 4 front yards. That reduces the ability to have a sort of a backyard play space. So the play area is actually in the front of building. We would consider the Cedar Street side of the building, the kind of the front door of the building. That is with the purpose of, it is bigger for handling the traffic for drop off and pickup for parents. It facilitates a nice drive loop across the front of the building, which gets a lot of the traffic off the other sides of the building. The main office and activity spaces do face that west side of the campus that is Cedar Street, which made a lot of sense for putting the outdoor space. So our playground, PE, and after-school activities would all occur in that green space, which makes for a nice front yard when you're entering the building. The concern was the district didn't want full fencing around everything, but they wanted something that's suggestive along that west border just to help keep kids in the property and keep, passersby from just easily walking onto campus. So it is not a fully enclosed site with fencing. It is more of just a suggestive barrier. The condition of black coated vinyl is what the district would prefer as well. It is a better looking product and it seems to last longer for them, so there is no concern with that. We also don't like the vinyl slats that get put in between because the wind breaks them up and they look terrible over time. But with that being the front door, the west side on Howell is the side where the cafeteria and kitchen are located. And so the delivery of food materials in for lunch hour come to the west side of the building, which also means that's where the garbage is gonna come back out. So that's the most,
If I can, how's the east side?
east side, yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes I talk too fast for my own good. So yes, east side, but that's where the garbage materials are coming out. So it is the closest in proximity to where the garbage will be produced and coming out of the building. So that's the service portion. And it is an easy location for dealing with the garbage trucks that have to get in and out of that portion of the building. We would just request that that be considered as an appropriate location for the dumpsters. Again, not having a real good back door to the building, this is probably the most back. I will say that when you look at the exterior aesthetic of the building, we are treating all four sides of the building in the same aesthetic manner, so we're not really designing the back any different in materiality than the front, so that when you drive around all sides, it looks presentable and beautiful. I think hiding the garbage as much with landscape items will, justify that keeps a nice free and clear building facade for the community. I think I covered all those things, but if you have questions, I'm willing to answer.
Are there any questions of the board for the applicant? Is the gym building that's remaining, is that also being blended into the,
It is,
to
yep.
the new design?
So the brick that is being put on the new addition is a match to the old brick. And then we're adding some additional metal panel. So the new building has some colored metal panel and then we apply that back onto the old building and it'll pretty much link it together so that it feels like it's a unified campus.
Okay. Questions, anyone? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I think I lost them again.
That's why there's no questions.
Hold on.
Mike always has one.
I don't think I'm on anymore. I'm sorry. I was watching it.
Please enter your access code followed by the pound or hash. To enable audio controls, please enter your...
Sorry, our phone dropped again.
Okay, we're back, right?
Yep, we're back.
Okay, did you guys hear the presentation?
Last I heard was talking about the refuge on the east side of the building.
That's pretty much the end of it. I asked about the gymnasium and how they were blending the aesthetics in, and he answered that very sufficiently.
Sure.
So at this point, are there any questions of the board to the applicant?
I have none, Chairman.
All right. Okay, so this is
good.
board opportunity to discuss. From my standpoint, I appreciate the 4 recommendations from staff, and I think those should be included. But otherwise, these properties either are or have been a school. When there was 2 schools and Fifth Street going between them, again, both schools would have had 4 front yards. So that, again, the dumpsters had to be somewhere, et cetera. So I don't think anything being asked for is out of line of what the property has been used for since, well, my mom went to SMART, so quite a while. So I think everything's in line, for my opinion. Any other comments?
I have to agree, Dan.
Well, you don't have to. I appreciate that you do.
Yeah, the fact that we're essentially repurposing the site for the same purpose, I think clarifies a lot of things for me.
Yep. And not that it's part of the three things that we're considering, but I like the fact that the city is investing in the area, so. Applicant, any final comments? Okay, none. So, oh, I didn't ask if anyone in the audience was in favor or wanted to speak against. But there's no one in the audience and there's no one online. Okay, so we're good there. Comments, discussion. So I would ask for a motion to approve the HV 24-10, including the 4 conditions recommended by staff.
Motion to approve HV 24-10 with staff recommendations.
Is there a second?
I will second. Mike Galliard?
Thanks, Mike. We have a roll call vote, please.
Carlson,
Yes.
Galliard,
Yes.
and Clefman,
Yes?
and Darland.
Yes. All right, so that is approved. And there is no other business, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved. Thank you all.
Thank you for participating.